So let's first add the form so we can add a command. So inside commands folder, let's add a new component. Let's call it add command dot view. And here let's use or let's add form. So here let's use here setup and style we can use scooped. And let's add, as I said, form. So here we have form and form. Later we will add function that will handle the add, or let's add first a class which is the padding of 3, or let's give the form a padding of 3. And inside let's add a div with margin bottom of 2. And inside div we need the text area, and the text area has so let's move this down and also this. So the text area will have the model. So later we will add property which will be inside objects, which is data. So the property will be body. And also we need to say that this field is required. Let's give it true. And what else we have here? We have the class, which is the form control. And also we need the rows. So let's give it only 3 rows. And let's keep 30 calls. Next, we need the submit button. So let's add div with the margin bottom of 2. And inside we have a button, and the button will have the class beta n, sm, and beta n primary. And let's add here submit, and here beta n primary, not just beta n. So we have now the form. Let's define the object. So here let's define data objects that will be reactive, and don't forget to import the reactive from here. So inside the reactive we have the body, and the body will be an empty, will have an empty string. Also here, as we have said before, we receive the props, and props are as we have said, we have the user ID. Let's just bring it from here. So we have so here we have the post ID, which is number and required, and also we have the user ID, and it has the same type and it is required. And finally we need and that's all. Now we don't need anything else because here we only need the post ID and user ID, but the body we get it from the form here that we have already defined. Okay, so let's add a function here that we'll call the action that we have already defined. So let's name it add command, and let's add arrow function. So let's bring just arrow from here and use it here. And let's change, let's remove this one and add curly braces, and we need to call store dot store. So what is the name of the action? So it's store command, as we have said, it's store command. And store command will take, as we have already said, the user ID. So what is the first argument? It's the post ID. So let's send first post ID. Second, we have user ID. and finally the body. So save. Let's take a look again. So we have the post ID, the user ID, and the body. So the post ID, the user ID, and the body. And we need to empty the form. So let's give it an empty string to the body. Now we have the function, but we need to call it once we submit the form. So let's move to top. And once we submit the form, we called add commands function, and here we need to prevent the default behavior of the browser. So we need to prevent the browser from refreshing, so we call prevent. So now that we have the component, so we need to register it before we can use it. So let's copy this one from here and change it to add commands, and we can also register it here. So let's change it to add commands and use the add command here. So now we need to move back again to the show post view, and there we need to use this component. So let's do that now. So here inside show.blade.php. So after the closing tag, so let's add it inside the card. So here, so I think here, I think if we add it here, it will be better. So let's check. So here after the closing tag of the card, let's add here add commands and see what we will have. So let's refresh the page, or it's already done automatically. So as you can see, we have here the form to add the command. So we can add commands. So let's try and see if we can add a command. And before we do that, as we said, we need to send the props, which is the post ID, and we can get it from the post ID. Okay, we can bring it from here. Let's bring it from here and put it here. And also what we need the user ID. So where is it? So we can use the user ID as prop, and we can bring it from auth, and we use the user, and we use the ID. So let's copy and paste it here. Now we have the two props that we need. So if we move again to the DevTools and check here, so let's check the components. So here inside the route, so we have the add commands. Here we have the post ID is 2 and the user ID is 2. So let's try to add a command. Nice post submit, and nothing done. Let's see here. So store is not defined, so I did not import store inside the add command. So here we are using store, but we did not import it. So let's import it from here, or let's copy from here and paste it here. Now we have store. So let's send again nice post submit, and as you can see, it's already sent. Let's check the network. So here it's already added, and here as you can see, we have the body ID and the user who created the command. So here we don't have anything, and here we have the command. So now if we move to back again to the view DevTools, let's check the Penia, and here as you can see, we have the commands, and we have one command with the user ID, the post ID, and the body, and updated, and the user who created or who added the commands. So now we can add commands. All we need to do now is to display them inside our command list. And that's what we will do now.